the night out right. Panel at the table in that half-dead light. Miss Robin in the middle, calling every shot, directing and producing, till the story runs hot. One from the city, badge heavy on his chest, towing that long like a wicked chain, spitting facts, no rest. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. JJ in the corner, state of the deep in his head. Which lies to toss and which ones to keep instead. Dago from the cafe says forget about it, leans back, spins his thoughts like a blade cutting holes in the track. Lee at the front, head advocate, steady stare, every word like a warning, every silence a dare. All of them leaning in, clock crawling, eyes bright. Every secret feels louder than the buzzing of the night. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite. You can bury it in paper, you can lock it in a file, but the truth bleeds through, drip by drip, tile by tile. We're dragging it to daylight, name by name, line by line. If you wrote it in the shadows, we'll read it out this time. Yeah. Crimes after dark, we close the night out right. Tear through the lies till the wrong sounds like a fight. All of the answers buried so deep out of sight. We watch the threads unravel, we watch the threads ignite.
Well, hello out there, everyone. Welcome to another Crimes After Dark. This is the Sunday edition, and it's wonderful to be here with everyone again. For those who may not know, on Sunday nights, Lee takes off to kind of rest and recharge and get ready for the week ahead and all that good stuff. So, but almost the rest of the panel is here. I'm sorry, the crime cat is howling at the moment, so if you hear him, that's, my God. Anyway, so but we have Dago from True Crime Cafe with us. We have Logan from Bronx Tales with us, and of course the amazing, everyone's favorite vampire One. Sundays we won't have Joe with us at the moment. He's doing gigs and whatnot, but the rest of us are here, and we're very excited about tonight's episode. This is the last night for our investigation into the death of Princess Diana, and of course Dodi Fayed. So this has been another fun series to look into. And towards the end of the night, we'll let you know what's next. But for now, let me go ahead and start bringing everyone up here. So, coming to the stage, hello, Logan. How are you?
Muted. I am muted. I am good. How are you? Lips.
I'm always doing that. Don't feel bad.
Okay, good. It's been a lot lately, muting myself.
What are you
I'm
gonna
so
do? How's
excited
your
for this
eyelashes?
episode. Oh my god. They're half on and half off. So if one falls off, it's okay, guys.
Oh my God. I keep harassing one about his 6-inch eyelashes or whatever he called it that night. That was funny.
Hilarious.
But yeah,
That would be
so,
so
well, how
funny
was
if
your
he showed up
day?
in eyelashes one day.
I know.
Hilarious.
That'd be hysterical. How was
Yep.
your Sunday?
It is raining and hailing and winds all day. I've gotten Bronx to go outside one time, barely. He hates getting
Oh
wet, so he
man.
will not go outside. I'm like, dude, you can't
Yeah,
hold it
our
all
our,
day. Gonna get an
our older
infection.
dog, she's the same way. Yeah, it's
Aw.
like I don't know what to tell you
Yeah.
because they just refuse to go in the toilet. So I can't,
Yeah.
You see those dogs on TikTok and that, and it's like, how do they get them to do that?
No idea.
Yeah,
No
it'd
idea.
be convenient.
Oh, so
Although,
convenient.
yeah. So, but what are you gonna do? What are you
I
gonna
don't
do?
know.
Well, I'm glad that you are here with us this evening again, of course. So, and your community over there, your believers. So it's wonderful to have them with us as always.
Hi, guys.
So yeah.
I'm so excited
Hey,
for this episode.
Crime Cat, can we not do that? I'm sorry. He is wound up tonight, and I don't know why. So who knows what he's going to be doing? But
He's
anyhow.
he's excited to announce the next Sunday episode.
Right. That must be what it is. That must
It
be.
is.
All right. Well, I will go up and bring up Diego. How are you, sir?
Whoa.
Hello.
Whoa.
Hello, governors. How are
Yeah.
you?
I'm great.
Doing
How are
fine,
you?
thank you.
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. I hope you
We
guys
should
are
do the
having
whole episode like that.
Yeah,
good
I'd probably
evening.
forget about halfway through.
Yeah, I'd probably change to multiple different dialects because I do that all the time. I've gone
Yeah,
from
French
talking,
and
yes,
whatever.
I've gone to sounding
Yep.
like I'm from the UK to sounding like I'm Australian to Indian for some reason. I don't know where it comes in that play. I've done it, and they're like, "What are you doing?" I just get, it is what it is. You gotta love ADHD. It makes you create all these
Yep.
wonderful
Yep.
things.
It is fun
Hey.
sometimes to have it in your own head.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
Yep.
God. You guys, I'm telling you, if you had the ability to get in here, you'd probably run for your lives. I'll just tell you that much.
Never boring.
No.
Nope. That's for sure.
It's like watching
So,
cartoons 7 days a week.
Yep.
how has your day been?
Good. A lot of stuff going on around the house, and then I got locked into messing around with my system here, trying to fix and add and retract and tweak little things and make things sound better. Things like that, So just saying.
That's too funny. No, get down. No,
Absolutely.
pardon me a second.
I have all these technical things here that we're going to waste, so I'm like, I should do something with those. So I did something with those. So, how about you two? How has your Sunday
Yeah,
been?
doing all right. Hanging in there and all that. So,
Good.
yep. All
Awesome.
right. Well, I will go ahead and bring up one here. Well, hello, sir.
Hello.
Oh,
How are you?
Oh, I'm feeling great. That's awesome.
That's
I'm just
wonderful.
ready to go. Let's do it.
oh man.
Oh my goodness. Toys. We love them. So, how was your day?
I spent most of the day cleaning. I I get a little obsessive sometimes. I just like go into this crazy mode where I'm like, I just got to clean this shit, and I just start. I don't know. I know, Dago. I know you have like 23 kids, so I don't know how. I
24.
Yeah, I know. Well,
Yeah,
that extra one in Dominican Republic. Yeah, you forgot about that one. Yeah.
yeah, and the one in my house in Hawaii as well. I have one there too. Yeah, you have to be good at something. That's what I told Lee. You got to be good at something, guys. I'm not good at
Yeah.
YouTube, so I have to be good at something.
Right. So I got the 2 kids, and even my daughter is very young, but my son turning 6 very soon. Just there's toys and just like shit all over the place. So I was just like kind of organizing, and it just makes me a little nuts sometimes.
Oh,
So.
I get it. I get it.
Oh, thank you
So
very much, Kathleen Bell. We appreciate that. Thank you very much.
yes, thank you. So I have to spoil the new show coming out next week. What we're going to be covering. I didn't want Robin to say it, so I had to spurt it out in the beginning here. Anyone ever watch Weekend at Bernie's? We're going to be covering who killed Bernie.
Killed Bernie.
It's a conspiracy.
Obviously. I mean, come on.
Bernie's not dead.
No, the official narrative, you can't believe that.
We saw him walking around. Duh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. He had the same glasses on that one's wearing.
That's where it was. One. I solved it.
It's probably Woodstock.
I'm gonna guess. Yeah. Yes, guys, we're gonna be looking into what happened to Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's, guys. Just so you know.
Yep. You cat K. That K says what?
What the hell are you talking about? Oh, I should have used it.
That's great.
There we go.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. That was a good one. I love that.
That was good.
Wouldn't that be a kicker if we took?
Maybe it will happen.
Put it on a thumbnail. Can you imagine that on a thumbnail? What really happened to Bernie, guys?
that would be fun.
Yeah.
Like that would be so to make it just as screwy as possible.
I
That would be fun.
Yeah, he was super nice.
Yep.
Yeah, like pretty much.
Did it happen at 4 a.m.?
Yeah, pretty much at 4 a.m. Bernie was up and drinking on the porch, and then we woke up the next day and he was not there anymore. I don't know what happened, guys, but we will look.
What are you talking about? You guys are all too young to know that movie. I saw Weekend at Bernie's 2. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it was a great movie.
Dude, I saw them all.
I mean, I know I'm 20. You're right. I'm only 25, but
yeah. Oh. Yeah.
Even though, even though I have 20, 23 years of service with the police department, but I am 25. Yeah.
It started when he was 2. He went into the youth
you
program.
were a crime fighting prodigy. That's what it was.
That's how it worked, guys. He would run. He was partners with a sergeant that they would pull up on the scene. He'd whip his shitty diaper at him and then slow him down, and then the guy would handcuff him. That's how it worked.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, don't be telling me that, Kim. I'm not going through the power thing again. So you keep that wind over there by you.
I didn't
know about Kurt Cobain. Yeah, well, that's great, Grace. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. We're glad that you're enjoying, the cases that we're doing on Sundays. That means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. We really tried to give you guys,
Crazy.
A ton of info and different different perspectives and on that. I mean, I know we covered, I think it was 6 episodes.
6.
So we did a lot on it, but we really tried to give you guys a deep analysis on it. That's
Yeah, it was definitely
Deep.
Yeah.
Deep.
So,
All right, I guess I'll
well,
get started here, right?
okie
Sure.
dokie.
Okay. Is it good to be alive in the dead on
Yeah,
a Sunday night?
always.
All right,
Yeah.
Juliana, Jackson, and my beautiful wife. Love you guys always. It was the early hours of August 31st, 1997. Paris was quiet. The kind of quiet that only comes after midnight, when the streets empty out, when the city exhales. But beneath the streets of Paris, inside a concrete tunnel called Pont Alma, history was about to collide with steel. Inside a black Mercedes sat a woman who had become something more than royalty. She had become an icon, a rebel princess, a humanitarian, a woman loved by millions and watched by everyone. Diana, Princess of Wales. But that night she wasn't inside a palace. She wasn't standing on a balcony. He was in the back seat of a speeding car, trying to escape cameras. Beside her sat Dodi Fayed, a billionaire's son, whose relationship with Diana had ignited the global tabloid machine. Behind the wheel sat Henri Paul, the driver tasked with one simple mission: lose the paparazzi. Outside the Ritz Hotel earlier that night, photographers had gathered like predators around the spotlight. Flashes, shouting, engines revving, motorcycles waiting, because a photograph of Diana was worth a fortune. And when the Mercedes finally pulled away into the Paris night, the chase began through the streets, across the Seine, toward a tunnel that would become one of the most infamous places on earth. Inside the car sat Diana's bodyguard, Trevor Reese Jones, a former soldier, a man trained to protect lives. He would become the only survivor of what happened next. Because seconds after entering that tunnel, something went terribly wrong. Mercedes accelerated. The walls of the tunnel closed in, and then metal screamed, glass exploded, steel folded into itself. When the wreckage finally stopped moving, the silence inside the tunnel was almost unreal. Two men were already dead: Henri Paul, Dodi Fayed. And in the twisted back seat, the most famous woman in the world was still breathing, but only barely. Emergency crews arrived. Sirens echoed through the tunnel. Doctors fought to stabilize her and rushed her to Poulet Salpêtrière Hospital. I'm sure I butchered that, but for hours, surgeons battled to save her life. But just before dawn, the fight ended. Diana, Princess of Wales, was dead. The world reacted instantly. Millions cried. Flowers covered the gates of Kensington Palace. Entire nations mourned. But beneath the grief, something else began to grow: doubt. Investigators concluded the crash was caused by speed, paparazzi pursuit, and a driver who had alcohol in his system. A tragic accident, case closed. But history has a strange habit of refusing to stay closed. The questions never stopped. Why was the car traveling so fast? Why did the security plan change that night? Why were photographers allowed to pursue the vehicle through Paris? And why did some people believe the full truth of that tunnel had never surfaced? For decades, the investigations have stood by the same conclusion, yet the whispers remain. Because when someone as beloved and globally visible as Diana dies suddenly, the world searches for answers. Tonight, on Devil's Advocates, we return to that tunnel. We examine the evidence, we confront the rumors, and we revisit the questions that have echoed for nearly 30 years. Was the death of Princess Diana simply a tragic accident? Or did something else happen in the dark Paris tunnel? because sometimes the most powerful stories in history live not in the answers, but in the questions that refuse to disappear. Tonight, we follow those questions back to August 31st, 1997, back to the tunnel, back to the night the world lost Diana. Welcome to Devil's Advocates. And with that, live from New York, it's Sunday night.
All right, thank you. That was great.
It was absolutely awesome.
Good stuff.
I was
Thank
late.
you.
No?
I had to do it. I could not just sit here with it. I had to do it. I'm sorry.
That was
awesome, though.
I'm ready.
That was-
ready.
Yeah, that was truly awesome, though, one. I like that. That's a great info, for sure.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, all right. So we left off last week. Remind me, folks.
We're kind of right at the
Right.
hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at the hotel,
The
right?
night of.
Okay.
Yeah, we spoke about
Right,
the
the
hotel.
night of.
We spoke about kind of the little. I mean, we might mention it again. What we probably will. A little controversy about the ring that was bought. Was bought. It seemed like I think Dodi. I think he may have been. I think he may have wanted to propose to her that night, and she
definitely.
figured, and so Dodi's father is not probably wrong to necessarily assume that, but there's a whole
He also pushed
big
him
thing with
into
that.
it too, though.
Right,
Remember that.
right. Oh yeah. Without question. So I think we're kind of like right at the hotel. So
Yeah.
however you guys want, I have like a million things, but I'm sure you guys have plenty of stuff you want to throw in there. So whoever wants,
you want to kick it off, Logan, Robin, whoever, ladies first.
Well, that's what I was trying to figure out. I know we had talked about with the paparazzi.
I mean, if
uh,
if you want, I could say like what what they say their official conclusion was.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
like a brief thing, and then we can talk about all the crazy stuff.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. So
I'm sorry. Go right ahead, guys. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. So I'll just basically, guys, give you kind of like a summary of what happened that night. This is the official narrative, right? In the early hours of August 31st, 1997, Diana, Princess of Wales, died from injuries sustained in a car crash in the Pont l'Ama tunnel in Paris, France. Dodi Fayed, Diana's partner and the driver, Mercedes-Benz chauffeur Henri Paul, were both found dead inside the car. Diana's bodyguard, Trevor Rees-Jones, was the only survivor of the crash, but he did have some serious injuries. The subsequent investigation into the crash remained controversial for decades, with many challenging the official narrative of Diana's death. In 1999, a French investigation concluded that Paul, who was intoxicated and under the influence of prescription drugs, lost control of the vehicle at high speed. The report held him solely responsible for the crash. Paul was the deputy head of security at the Hotel Ritz Paris and had earlier confronted paparazzi waiting for Diana and Fayed outside the hotel. Antidepressants and traces of an antipsychotic found in his blood may have compounded his impairment. In 2008, I have stuff on that if we get to it. A British inquest called Operation Paget. I don't know, however you. I can't pronounce French. Yeah, Paget.
It's okay.
I could say croissant, but
yeah, right now it's Paget.
Right. Operation Paget returned a verdict of unlawful killing, citing the grossly negligent driving of both Paul and the pursuing paparazzi. While initial media reports suggested Rees-Jones survived because he was wearing a seatbelt, later investigations confirmed that none of the car's occupants were wearing seatbelts.
Just him.
Diana was 36 years old at the time of her death. Her death prompted an international outpouring of grief, and her televised funeral is watched by an estimated 2.5 billion people worldwide. I feel like I'm Austin Powers here. Like the
Billion.
2.5 billion, not million, billion.
A lot.
So here's the let's see. That's kind of like sort of a replica of the car that they were in. That's not the exact car.
No.
That's kind of what it looked like.
No, the
And then
exact
this,
car
and
is
then,
only about a quarter of that now.
and this was the tunnel. You see, there's no guardrails. And here's another kind of view of the tunnel. So here's more on Saturday. Okay, so here we go. Just to give you guys a timeline. Saturday, August 30th, 1997. Diana traveled from Albia Airport, Sardinia, on a private jet and arrived. God, they're trying to kill me here. And arrived at Bourget
La
Airport,
Bourget.
Bourget Airport in Paris, with the Egyptian film producer Dodi Fayed, son of businessman Mohammed El Fayed. They had stopped there en route to London, having spent the preceding 9 days together on board his father's yacht, Jonicle, on the French and Italian Riviera. They had intended to stay there for the night. His father was the owner of the Hotel Ritz Paris and resided in an apartment on Rue Arsène Houssaye, a short distance from the hotel, just off the Avenue des Champs-Élysées.
The Champs-Élysées. That's what it is. It's Champs-Élysées.
Yeah. Henri Paul, deputy head of security at the Ritz, had been instructed to drive the hired black 1994 armored Mercedes-Benz S280 saloon registered 688 LTV 75 W140 S-Class in order to elude the paparazzi. A decoy vehicle left the Ritz first from the main entrance on Place Vendôme. God, I suck at this. Attracting a throng of photographers.
You're good.
Diana and Fayed then departed from the hotel's rear entrance, Rue Cambon, at around 0020 hours on August 31st CEST time, heading for the apartment in Rue Arsène Houssaye. They did this to avoid the nearly 30 photographers waiting in front of the hotel. Diana and Fayed were the rear passengers. Trevor Rees-Jones, a member of the Fayed family's personal protection team, was in the front passenger seat. None of the vehicle's occupants were wearing seatbelts. After leaving the Rue Cambon and crossing the Place de la Concorde, they drove along Cours La Reine and Cours Albert Ear, the embankment road along the right bank of the River Seine, into the Place des Alma underpass. At 0023, Paul lost control of the car at the entrance to the Pont de la Alma underpass. The car reportedly struck a white Fiat Uno, swerved to the left of the two-lane carriageway, and collided head-on with the 13th column that supported the roof. The Mercedes, driven by Paul, was traveling at an estimated speed of 105 kilometers an hour, or 65 miles per hour, more than twice the speed limit of the tunnel. The vehicle then spun, hit the stone wall of the tunnel backwards, and finally came to a stop. The impact caused substantial damage, particularly to the front half of the vehicle, as there was no guardrail to mitigate the collisions. Witnesses arriving shortly after the crash reported smoke. They also reported that photographers on motorcycles swarmed the Mercedes sedan before it entered the tunnel. The photographers had been driving slower and were some distance behind Mercedes. When they reached the scene, some rushed to help, trying to open the doors and help the victims, while some of them took pictures. Police arrived around 10 minutes after the crash at 0030, and an ambulance was on site 5 minutes later, according to witnesses. France Info Radio reported that one photographer was beaten by witnesses who were horrified by the scene. 5 of the photographers were arrested directly. Later, two others were detained, and around 20 rolls of film were taken directly from the photographers, while police later impounded their vehicles. Firefighters arrived at the scene to help remove the victims. Reese Jones sustained multiple serious facial injuries and a head contusion, but was conscious. The front airbags had functioned normally. Some media reports claim that Reese Jones was the only occupant wearing a seatbelt at the time of the crash, but it was later determined that no one inside the car had been wearing one. Diana was sitting in the rear passenger seat on the right-hand side and was critically injured, but she also remained conscious. The crash mostly affected the right-hand side of her body, indicating that she was sitting sideways in her seat at the time of impact. Her ribs and arm were fractured, and her right collarbone was dislocated, and she suffered from swelling and bruising to the brain. She was reported to murmur repeatedly, "Oh my God." And after the photographers and the other helpers were pushed away by police, leave me alone. In June 2007,
Wow.
the Channel 4 documentary, Diana, The Witnesses in the Tunnel, claimed that the first person to touch Diana was off-duty physician Frederick Maliz, who
Robin,
chanced...
sorry to interrupt real quick. There's
That's
a
okay.
photograph I threw backstage of the vehicle
Okay.
directly after, as he's explaining that. I can throw that up there. And you
Oh,
guys
yeah,
can
go
see
ahead. Throw it up.
how
Throw it
bad
up.
this actually was.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Yeah. Maliz reported that Diana had no visible injuries, but was in shock. She was reported to have been extremely disturbed and removed and an intravenous drip while shouting incoherently. After being sedated and removed from the car at 0100 hours, she went into cardiac arrest, but her heart started beating again following external cardiopulmonary resuscitation. Diana was moved to the ambulance at 0118, left the scene at 0141, and arrived at the, oh my God, Pate Salpêtrière Hospital at 2:06 hours. Fayed was in the rear passenger seat on the left-hand side and was pronounced dead at the scene shortly afterwards. Paul was also pronounced dead at the scene on removal from the wreckage. Both were taken directly to the Institut Medico-Legal, the Paris mortuary. Paul was later found to have blood alcohol level of 180 milligrams per 100 milliliters of blood, or 3.6 times the legal limit in France. Diana's injuries were extensive, and resuscitation attempts were unsuccessful, including internal cardiac massage. Her heart had been displaced to the right side of the chest, which tore the upper left pulmonary vein and the pericardium. Diana died at the hospital at 0400, and anesthesiologist Bruno Rio announced her death at 0600 at a news conference held at the hospital. And that's really it.
And I'm going to tell you guys, just from my experience,
Yep.
anybody coming out of that car alive blows my mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Especially the side that she was on, the other side, the opposite side from what we could see. How? I think the only thing that kept her alive was her size. She was so tiny. Okay. If she would have been any bigger, there's no way, because it was crushed. And like I
Yeah.
said, she survived it initially, but to no avail. Obviously, it just every time I look at that car, it's like I cringe. It's horrifying.
Thank you, Carol, for the $9.99 towards our brand new FOIA fund. I appreciate you so much. So in the very beginning, right as they're about to leave the hotel,
right
as they're about to leave the hotel, there were actually 2 different cars, and they were identical cars. There was one in the front and there was one in the back, and that was to throw off the paparazzi. However, I want to say it was the driver that was continually walking in and out of the hotel to go talk to the paparazzi.
Yes.
So I just find that part a little bit interesting. It could have been completely innocent, or who knows.
And then the other stuff, like we're going to get into a bunch of stuff. There's questions about this guy's alcohol level as well, because there are witnesses that are saying that he was not intoxicated. So, like, what is it? Is his results like? Is it doctored? Is it are they lying or are the witnesses mistaken? You know, I
Yeah, I
Right.
actually wanted to say something towards that as well. There is a video that came out later, and it was of the security camera of the hotel. And you can see the driver, he stops to bend over to tie his shoes, and he moves, he's bent over and he ties
right.
his one shoe, and then he ties his other shoe, and then it takes him 44 seconds, and then he continues to walk. If he was that drunk, a lot of people say that he wouldn't have had that great of balance, wouldn't have been able to do that
Yeah.
without falling over or
Or
stumbling, or it would have taken
stumbling a bit.
longer.
Right.
And he didn't. He was walking perfectly fine and didn't stumble to even bend over to tie his shoes.
So I
Right.
have another picture I threw backstage. If you want to throw that up, it kind of shows
Sure.
something into what Logan just said to some extreme. I've got all this stuff preloaded too. Sorry.
But another thing
Nice.
too, though, with his alcohol level is if he is a regular drinker, though, which we don't know, he could operate just fine on that level.
Right.
So
Right.
So as you guys see, you see Diana walking to the vehicle. Pay attention to something back here. You see the plate number on this vehicle, 405JV,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Then
Yeah.
we have this other vehicle, 688 LTB 75. Right
Mhm.
before the accident in Paris, she got on a I can't read the rest of it. But anyway, this explains this whole situation, okay? But it shows there's two vehicles. They're almost identical, okay? And again, like Logan said, they switched up the vehicle because everybody thought she was going in this one over here, and all the paparazzi were ready to take off and follow her. When all reality, she got into this one. And I mean, this is what they do to keep their privacy. You know what I mean? It's really sad that they have to
Right.
do that, but
Yeah. Yeah, it is sad, but
oh, by the way, that's Dodi right there. For those of you that didn't see him, Dodi, Diana, the driver is over here, and one bodyguard right there, and then that's a better picture of the two vehicles. Okay, as they come out, so on and so forth. Just shows all that stuff. So sorry, one. I mean to interrupt you, but I just wanted to show that.
No,
to
you're not interrupting
our
me.
Logan.
No, yeah.
no, yeah, you're good.
and
They
Wi-
also
with
they also
I'm sorry,
passed
go ahead.
they also passed a closer hospital, which is wild. I'm sure we'll get more into that. I
Yes.
just wanted to bring it up because it's being brought
I
up in
had
the
some
chat.
questions. Yeah, I had some questions on that too. And my question I get would be, I know, law enforcement type stuff, but I just know basically, if we have someone injured or whatever, I usually EMS is kind of on scene or they'll be there shortly. Um, to you, Dago or Logan, you as well, as I know you've like dealt with you worked at like at the hospital and stuff too. What is your opinion of like I understand like okay, you have someone accident, like, you need to if you have to resuscitate them on scene or you have to stabilize them initially. But does it to me, I mean, from some of the stuff I've read, and that's why I don't know, I'm not an expert and I'm asking what you guys think. It seemed like it took an extremely extensive amount of time. Like I think it was something like over like an hour and 40 minutes to get her to a hospital.
That's
Like
yeah, super way too long. If you can't, here's my understanding. I don't think anything's any different in the UK, but it might be. But in a situation like this, yes, you are going to first and foremost try. First off, you have to get the person out of the vehicle first. Okay,
right.
you get them into the back of the squad and you try to stabilize them before you move, if you can. If there's heart issues going on, if you need to start an IV, if you have to give different medications, so on and so forth. As soon as you get them stabilized, you take off. Okay. And like it was spoken, or not UK, France. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I don't know why I'm thinking UK. I was just reading something that said UK, so my apologies. But anyway, once they're stabilized, they move, they go. Okay. At least here. And I can't imagine medical is medical. I mean, rules are rules, whatever. That was way too long. And like Logan said, was it Logan or was it? Yeah, it was Logan. They passed a hospital on a way to another one. And the theory on that is that they had to go to that specific hospital because of who they were, because it was Diana and somebody else. That's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Now,
it's
the
not.
only other
Yeah.
right, the only other way that would be different, for instance, here, if you go to we have 2 hospitals that we would transport to regularly in our local area. If you call in, because you're supposed to radio in and tell them what you have coming, hey, you got a cardiac patient, full cardiac arrest, en route, so on and so forth. We have administered epinephrine, this, that, and everything else, and let
Right.
them know what they're in store for. And a lot of times, what would happen was they would radio back and say, "We're full. We have to send you to St. Joe's." What are you talking about? It was a big deal, it was a problem, but it happened a lot. So sometimes that can happen. I'm sure it can happen over there. If their emergency room or their trauma unit's full, they will redirect you to another place. When you have a situation like this, it doesn't work. Yeah, I've fought with them before because I have a full cardiac arrest that we're riding in doing this. Okay, we need to stabilize this patient. They're as stable as they can get here. We need to get them into the emergency room so that we can get something going. And we've ignored it and gone in there. But the rules could be the same over there. If they're full, they may send them and redirect them somewhere else. I read a long time ago that the reason why that happened was because she couldn't go, or they wouldn't allow her to go to any other hospital than the hospital they were heading towards in that area for security reasons, I guess. I don't know. I don't believe that. I think it was, in my opinion, purposely done to delay the process. Okay, this is my opinion.
So I agree with that 100,000%. The only other thing I want to add to that is, number one, it's been said, and I assume it was recorded as well, that the ambulance actually stopped for quite a while.
Yes.
And then the only other thing I want to say regarding the hospital thing, and maybe the reason they may have passed it, and I only know that because it happens here, is the level of trauma she was in. The one hospital may not have been equipped, but you would still think you would get her to a hospital, no matter what hospital it is, to at least get her stable and then transfer her to a higher trauma level. That's the only other thing I can think of, but it seems pretty skeptical.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
The ambulance stopping, we've done that too, because if you're in movement, like flying down the road, sometimes we've had to pull over to stop to perform certain activities, certain things, because you can't do it while moving. Okay. So that may have happened a few times because they may have needed to restabilize her. If she went into a cardiac arrest or something again, they need to stop, pull over to use the oh my God, I almost called it an IUD. You guys know what I mean, the paddles. Okay, I'll just say that. Anyway, but that does happen. Or if you need to run another IV or something like that, you can't do it while moving, especially if you're zigzagging.
No, when you're trying to do an IV, trying to, with the needle, you can't,
Or if you're gonna do like, I can't think tonight, you guys. Where you have to punch the hole in their neck. I'm not tracheotomy on the road. Thank you very much. You have to stop to do that kind of stuff. You can't or if you're trying to intubate somebody, they have to they can't be moving to intubate somebody, because if you miss and go the wrong way, you can court the cords and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot to that kind of stuff. So that would make sense in that aspect. I'm sorry, I'm talking so much. I'm just trying to.
That's okay.
No, that's fine. You guys are fine.
It sounded like they stopped right next to the hospital, like right before reaching the hospital, and they didn't arrive until 6 minutes after stopping. So
that doesn't make sense.
Right. If you're that close, I mean, my goodness, just get her there.
Again, I think they did it on purpose.
So,
I'm just saying.
Agree.
Yeah. So we're getting into all this stuff about. We're gonna get into a lot of the some of the inconsistencies and some of the other stuff. This was a big thing, though. Like, I don't know, to me, taking an hour and 40 minutes or whatever it was to get to the hospital is like crazy. That's why I wanted to ask you guys. But just for a little insight to people before we get into some of the other stuff. So after the murders, there was an 18-month French judicial investigation concluded in 1999. that the car crash was caused by Paul, who lost control at high speed while intoxicated. The report held him solely responsible for the crash. Paul was the deputy head of security at the Ritz Hotel. All right. And then later on, it winds up being finalized in 2008. A special Metropolitan Police Inquiry Team was established in 2004. So it took them like 3 to 4 years on this, called Operation, which I mentioned earlier, Paget, I guess. Paget, headed by Commissioner John Stevens, to investigate the various conspiracy theories which led to the British inquest. The investigation looked into 175 conspiracy claims that had been made by Fayed. After hearing evidence at the British inquest, a jury in 2008 returned a verdict of unlawful killing by driver Henri Paul and the paparazzi pursuing the car. The jury's verdict also stated, in addition, the death of the deceased was caused or contributed to the fact that the deceased were not wearing a seatbelt and by the fact that the Mercedes struck the pillar in the Pont tunnel rather than colliding with another car. Analysis of the wreckage of the Mercedes revealed it had glancing contact with a white Fiat Uno car, which left traces of paint on the Mercedes bodywork. Since 1997, allegations of a government-sanctioned assassination, which they call GEA, rooted in inconsistencies between the Operation Paget and new data in the deaths of Princess Diana, Dodi Fayed, and Henri Paul have emerged. In 2025, so this is not too long ago, somewhat recent, a new forensic method capable to differentiate government-sanctioned assassinations from random murders demonstrated that the deaths of Martin Luther King, James Forrestal, Stanley Kubrick, Princess Diana were marked by unique features or signature traits of government-engineered assassination. So it's quite.
Diego, I have a question for you. It sounds like some people in chat seem to have heard at some point that on the way to the hospital, Diana was previously pregnant or was pregnant at the time, and that they performed an abortion in the back of the ambulance. I don't think that they have that type of equipment in the ambulance.
Correct? I don't think so.
No way.
I don't think so. Yeah.
No.
I don't think. Yeah.
And unless France has some kind of wild shit that we've never heard of, they do not have that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think she was. I don't think she was pregnant. I really don't.
You can deliver a baby. You can deliver a baby in a squad. You can also, you can do other things, but there's no way in hell. I mean, unless it was done, you know what I mean, the wrong way. There's no way in hell that happened. I'm sorry.
There wouldn't be the correct tools to do a DNC in the back of a hospital in 5 minutes or whatever.
Not at all. And it would have been okay. They would have known, unless of course they fudged it. They would have known during the autopsy if she had been pregnant or not.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well, the only thing with that really struck me was the fact that she was embalmed while she was in France.
Yeah, because of the time span. You have to do it in a certain period of time. And I'm guessing that's why.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is, it's hard to say. I don't think she was pregnant because
I know
they weren't together long enough.
Here's what
I mean, her and Dodi.
Right. And I know Dodi's father, I know, was pushing it, but
that is what I was trying to get to. Is I think this whole thing comes from the fact that Mohammed, Dodi's father, was pushing all of these things because he wanted the connection to the royal family so bad, okay, that he was willing to say, "Hey, she's pregnant with my son's child. We're connected," or "They're going to get married. We're connected." You know what I mean? Things like that, and it's not. That's exactly what I think this was all about. The rumors and the hearsay came from that and that alone. There's no way that Diana would have been, in my opinion, pregnant because she was way too classy for that. She would not have allowed for that to happen, in my opinion. Not because of because of her situation. I'll put it that way. Okay, let me just say that.
Right.
I think she would have been extra careful of things like that because she was not. She did not want to be in a permanent relationship with Mr. Fayed. Okay, that's just what I've read. That's how I understand it. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
I do have. I don't know if you guys want this or not, but I have the entire timeline. Like, boom, 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 boom. If you want to see it, or whatever, it's up to you.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It'd be
throw it
great.
up. Yeah, I have that. I have it too. But yeah, throw it up. You mean from when she went in the car?
Everything. It shows. Hold on a minute. Let me make sure you can see it. It's backstage, Robin.
So while he's doing that, yeah, this is good. So they this investigation that they did in 2025, they basically what they came to conclusion here, the Operation Paget hypothesis, so that was the one that was done in 2007, is inconsistent with new evidence. Furthermore, the Operation Paget hypothesis did not offer any mathematical calculations of accuracy, and they have a new forensic tool that has been helpful to demonstrate that several highly publicized deaths of leaders officially attributed to lone criminals or suicides were in fact these GEAs, government engineered assassinations.
Right.
So it's so they have a whole, I'm not going to go through the whole like beginning, to determine whether Princess Diana was a victim of a homicide, and it's to project odds of certainty of this observation. So they have a whole like hypothesis here, and basically they're saying without going too deep into the equation is based upon the premise that each supporting evidence is a hypothesis, a logical inference from observing facts from which consequences may be deduced, with a 50% chance of being correct, and therefore the final outcome would be the same as the probability of random occurrence in flipping a coin. Hence, it would be like heads coming up at consecutive times. For instance, the probability of random occurrence of heads coming up 10 consecutive times would be half of 10 equals one. So it's a very small. It's like 9% chance. So what they came to is that they reviewed the British inquest. Again, that was the Operation Paget assassination, and they identified 14 observations consistent with the observation that Princess Diana was a victim of a homicide, and inconsistent with Princess Diana was not a victim of a homicide. So they have all these things. So
and
I'll let you go into the timeline. Yeah.
That was the inquest, the investigation that was done last
2000.
year.
Well, right? No. Well, the initial inquest, that was 2000. That started in like 2004 and it ended in 2008. But this new thing, this what do they call it? This government.
Oh yeah.
GEA, government. This government engineered assassination thing. They're saying that this is stuff this has been used. This method or this thing of like convoluting and distorting facts and all this stuff is used in many different like famous people or people that we know.
Yeah. No, what I was asking was, I believe they did an inquest. A panel of experts had done an inquest as of last year, I believe. 25.
Well, this is from 2025. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what this is.
What I was asking.
They basically, they have some kind of, they came up with a way, basically using statistics and using, different observations and different inconsistencies. What is the likelihood that such and such happened? Is it more likely that it was a homicide, or did such and such happen? So like what am I talking about? Like, for instance, the 14 cameras that didn't work in the tunnel.
Mhm.
That's an inconsistency. Is
Of
that
course.
you know, like stuff like that. So they just
Yeah.
they go through the whole like the whole thing, the whole thing here with different stuff. But you
And everything
you
points to the fact that she was more likely killed by homicide, not by
yes,
accident. So yes,
correct,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Right. So, and the reason why I threw this up, guys, is again, there's another photograph of the car looking down on it from an aerial view. I
Wow.
mean, you can tell it's bad. Okay, and it says, I think we got to 0218 to 030. Two police
Yeah,
officers arrived. They had difficulty coordinating off, as he said. They arrested 8 paparazzi, folks. 8.
yep,
Okay. And it says this is at 0125 after nearly an hour of trying to stabilize her, which again I think is overkill. That didn't take that long. It didn't need to take that long. Okay. It leaves for the hospital. As we were saying, she had already suffered a cardiac arrest, which is why they had to wait to stabilize her to make sure that they
right,
get her heart stabilized. Off they go. Okay, so then where did it go? At 0130, 5 minutes later, uh Mr. Al-Fayed was pronounced dead. And then we get to 155. At 155, okay, if you time this, Diana's ambulance stopped for 5 minutes to inject, which is epinephrine. They say adrenaline, but it's epinephrine in her body, again, to keep her heart going, because she obviously went into another cardiac event. At 0206, again, the ambulance arrives at Petit Salpêtrière Hospital. Doctors note that she has torn her pulmonary vein, a rare condition that begs little chance of survival. See, they completely left out that other time where the ambulance stopped right near the hospital. They cut that out of there. So
yeah,
it says she receives an open heart massage for 2 hours. So what they do is they cut her open, folks, and they take 2 paddles, okay? They actually put it inside her body on her actual heart, and it vibrates and it massages the heart, try to get it to keep it pumping and to get it pumping, okay? For 2 hours they did this. And at
yes.
0400 hours, go
So I
ahead.
actually, just to jump in here, so I actually have from there from the investigation thing. So at 2:04, and this goes along with what you're saying. The ambulance stopped within a
Right.
few hundred yards of the hospital to
There it
treat a
is.
sharp drop in blood pressure.
Right. Right. And you're right there. You're literally right there, a few hundred yards.
Yeah,
So I think they could
Yeah.
have handled, because all they would have had to do for that is to inject her with something. You can do that while moving. Okay. I have an issue with that. I'm just saying. So then at 0400 hours, she was declared dead. Very
yeah,
sad. And I
uh,
feel like this was
yeah.
done on purpose, folks. I truly do. These
So
things here could have been handled in a completely different way, and I think she could have survived.
the total I have here. So what they're complaining about, and I agree. It took them 1 hour and 43 minutes to get Diana to the hospital, which was 4.1 miles away. That's
Insanity.
insane.
Yeah.
100%.
That is a long time.
Too long. Way too long.
So just a little bit more there. So back at 206, if you go back up. So I have a little bit more here.
Right
So
here,
I
yeah.
have at the hospital, she arrived alive and with a cardiac rhythm. The X-rays internal hemorrhaging that was compressing her right lung and heart. At 216, she went into cardiac arrest. There was an injection of epinephrine directly into the heart. 220, there was an emergency how do you say that?
Thoracic.
Thoracotomy or whatever.
Oh,
I don't
thoracotomy, yeah.
Yeah, a partial rupture of the left pulmonary vein at the point of contact with the left atrium. The tear was sutured, manual internal massage and electroshocks, no heartbeat. And then 0400, she was
So the
pronounced
tear
dead.
in her valve is what they're saying
Yeah.
probably is what the end result is, what killed her, unfortunately. But I still feel that the time limit, the stopping that they did in some aspects may have had an effect on these things, in my opinion. Because until that, they could not get her into surgery. They can't perform surgery other than minute things such as a tracheotomy or something like that in the back of an ambulance. They can't do this kind of stuff in an ambulance. So if they'd have just nonstop went there, think about that, an hour and 45 minutes. If they would have, for 4 miles, folks, come on.
Yeah, for 4 miles, that's just...
No. If they would have got her there sooner, they could have got her into surgery immediately and probably saved her life. This is why I think it was done on
So
purpose.
here, right, so here are the 5. So these are the 5 things that they say are this government.
I'll be right back.
Engineered assassination. They have number 1, a sudden death of a leader, or that of whoever the person is. Evidence of a cover-up. Major investigative flaws. Forensic evidence incompatible with official narrative. And medical inconsistencies. So they're saying if you have those 5 things, it's highly likely it's some kind of homicide or assassination.
Right, and those things are definitely present in this case for sure.
Did you guys want to say? I have a bunch of stuff on Henri Paul on his blood level, unless you wanted to jump in, or if you guys have anything.
I just want to interject. It's not really facts on the crash or anything. It's just, to me, I feel like she was looking for a partner. She found a partner in Dr. Khan.
Yeah.
They broke up. She was upset about it. She was really, I think, dating Dodi just to kind of piss off the royal family, or piss off, well, not only the royal family, but Dr. Khan as well. So people would see the pictures in the press. But she just stayed home and loved herself enough and not worried about having a partner. Or anything, just anything. I just wish she would stayed home and loved herself more.
Yeah.
Or it just wouldn't happen.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. Yep.
So what I have here. So Henri Paul's blood level, level 1. So they're saying it's incompatible with witness reports, TV images of his sober demeanor as captured on the CCTV of the Ritz that evening, and that's what Logan alluded to earlier about him tying his shoes and stuff like that. So in 2006, Lord Stevens informed Paul's elderly parents that their son was not drunk. Under cross-examination at the British inquest in 2008, Lord Stevens said that the chauffeur's condition at the time of the crash did not match the police's definition of being drunk. Stevens said that the available evidence suggested Paul had consumed only 2 alcoholic drinks. So that's crazy. So if he had 2 drinks he's not going to be drunk from 2 drinks, This is an interesting fact here. There were high levels of carbon monoxide, two times higher than blood levels of a regular smoker, were found in Henri Paul's blood. That's, to me, super interesting. That carbon monoxide level, suggesting an unknown adverse influence. Furthermore, carbon monoxide disperses at the rate of about half every 4 or 5 hours. Thus, the level of 20.7% found during Paul's autopsy could have been 40% several hours earlier when he died, suggesting carbon monoxide intoxication consistent with Henri Paul's reckless acts. So that's super interesting to me. So they're basically saying there might have been some kind of carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah.
That made him go, that why he crashed.
Right. Because like Logan said earlier, if he was able to tie his shoes and so forth, why, Yeah, he couldn't, and he only had the 2 drinks. Uh, just seems to me like he really could not have been intoxicated. So how would he have gotten CO2 though in his bloodstream?
So I just looked it up and it says there have been rare cases in car accidents that there have been reported CO poisoning from the Institute of something or other. What did it say? The Institute of Health, National Institute of Health says they have reports of a case of a woman who was involved in a low speed motor vehicle collision and was found unresponsive in her vehicle due to CO poisoning.
Okay.
But I think it's
That's a
really
new one for
rare.
me.
But
It's just, yeah, it's
say, I
just
guess,
interesting,
what
right?
happened?
It's
Mm,
just crazy. Yeah, it's just a little interesting fact there. It's just weird, strange,
yeah.
because they say he's drunk. We have kind of conflicting evidence that he was not drunk, and then he has high levels of carbon monoxide. So it's just
The
Yeah.
carbon
weird.
monoxide levels showed like 20.7. That's
Yeah, yep, that's what I have.
I almost makes you wonder if it was that's weird. That is very strange. I never knew
Yeah,
that fact before. Interesting.
yeah.
Hmm.
It says carbon monoxide poisoning in a vehicle can occur when the colorless, odorless gas from the engine's exhaust system leaks into the cabin
Bingo.
and is inhaled by occupants. However, wouldn't the other people in the car have it then as well?
Depending on here, okay. This is interesting to me. Yeah, they should, but if it's being like, okay, this is very much a rabbit hole. Okay, if it's being pumped into the vehicle via some kind of a CO tank that was mounted on the vehicle somewhere, and it's coming through the ventilation system into his face, he's going to inhale much more than they will, which in turn will basically pass him out. Okay.
Right.
Did you have the thing in the middle where, in the olden days when you were like, roll up
Between
the
them,
divider?
could he? Yeah, he could have. He
Like,
definitely could have.
I don't know if it
Um,
was in that car, but
I mean, there could
I
have
don't
been the
believe so.
shield,
I don't think there was a divider in
I
that
don't think
car.
so either.
No.
but
Well, this
again,
is
if he's sitting in the front, he's going to get it before they do. And
right,
you know
Right.
what I mean?
right.
So there's
Yeah.
that. But that's interesting as hell. I never knew that. That would definitely like either knock him out or make him definitely almost like he is drunk till he does pass out or something. You know what I mean? It'll make his vision blurry. It will
Yeah,
cause brain fog, for lack of better terms, and all sorts of things like that. So
It said
that's
no, there was not a divider.
okay then. Well, there you
Yeah.
go. So
things that make you go
that's interesting. And I listen with what one's talking about the was it called GEC or whatever it is or GE whatever it is.
GEA.
There you go. So things like that I've heard of stories of stuff like that being done in the past. I mean, if these people have more money than the world, so
Yep.
you can do what you want to do when you want to do it, how you want to do it. So now another way that it could have happened too could have been like within the accident if there was because you saw the car was shredded, folks. Okay. Um, if there was something with the exhaust that tore and it leaked into the vehicle, then yeah, that could have happened too. But I don't know what to think on this. That's wild.
A
That's
side
wild.
note, a side note being that we mentioned it. So, I believe it was, I don't know. I think it was from Diana's one of her relatives, but what I bring up many times, even when we're talking about Idaho 4 and Brian's phone being, going off, and it's always I always emphasize, yes, you can look at the actual action of what someone is doing, but more importantly than just the action, it's the pattern of behavior. Pattern of behavior is extremely important to tell you
Right.
what someone does, and if something is wrong. That's how we solve cases. That's how that's what they look at. you put someone's pattern behavior, and when where we are creatures of habit. Think about when I think you work from home, Logan, right?
Yeah.
Usually most of them, but anyway, but even though you work from home, like I'm sure that you have a kind of pattern, right? Like, you wake up, whatever, you probably, you take Bronx out, you go to the bathroom, you do this, you do like many people, you don't even realize it. If you actually documented and wrote in a notebook everything you did when you wake up, you would find that you probably do almost the same pattern all the time. It's just we're creatures of pattern. People drive, you go to work, people take the same way going to work. There might be 15 different ways to get to work, but people are so used to going that one way. They like that one way. So one of the big things to me that's a huge red flag, just going by, like, I had it down. I have so much stuff. I don't remember who the relative was, but one of the infos we have now is that all of the occupants of the vehicle were not wearing seatbelts. And apparently
Except for
Diana
one.
was, well, they said later on that none of them, they found that they said one of them was, but later on they said that was incorrect, that none of them were actually wearing it. But either way, no matter, Diana apparently was very big about wearing seatbelts. That's what her relative said. So if you're someone who follows a pattern of behavior that you always put a seatbelt on, to me, yes, I know that they were rushing and they were trying to get away from the paparazzi and whatever, but that kind of pattern of behavior, if you always put your seatbelt on, well, why didn't she have a seatbelt on from this accident? It
makes you wonder if somebody messed with them and she couldn't put it on.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's, to me, it's a glaring red flag. It's just one of those things. Like, if you told me, like, oh, someone every time they get up, they go to work, they stop at Dunkin' Donuts, they get a black coffee, and then they go back, and then this person gets into an accident or something on this certain day, and there's no black coffee. They didn't stop at could it be a coincidence? They just didn't want to go, yeah, but again, you evaluate the pattern. This is all about evaluating patterns of behavior, and I think there is something there. That the fact that she didn't have the seatbelt on, to me, is a big deal. If that's a behavior that, I'm just going by, again, what the relative said. We would have to try to, get more corroboration on that. But if that is accurate,
Grace Kirk just said that she read that the seatbelts were broken, so that's convenient.
Well, that's even more alarming.
Yeah. And there's conflicting accounts about that. There are some things in that report that say that they were cut by the fire department that had arrived, or other personnel, but yet other accounts say no, that was not the case. So
well, one of the doctors at the autopsy, from that initial inquest, the inquest in 2008, whatever the doctor's name is, I don't have it on my right now, but he had said that if Diana had been wearing a seatbelt, that she would be alive today. That's what his analysis was. So that's what's like so alarming to me. But if that, I understand, I know, like, some people might not think it's a big deal. Like, oh, maybe she just decided she didn't want to wear the seatbelt. But it is a big deal, because if that is her pattern of behavior, that she always wears a seatbelt, and the one time she doesn't wear the seatbelt and she gets into a horrific car accident, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
And it's interesting to me, sorry, that the bodyguard, Mr. Reese Jones, says that he's suffering from amnesia and cannot remember details of the accident. Wow. I'm not saying it's not possible, folks. All I'm saying is it's very convenient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got some other info here if you want me to go forward here.
Go for it.
Richard Tomlinson, a former MI6 officer, reported in a sworn statement to the French Inquiry in May 1999 that Britain's MI6 had been involved in the crash. The previous August, he had been reported by the BBC to claim that Paul was working for the security services, that one of Diana's bodyguards, either Trevor Rees-Jones or Kes Wingfield, was a contact for British intelligence. So that's interesting. Then I got James Adanson, the photographer accused of helping MI6 kill Diana, was found dead in a burnt-out BMW with a hole in his head. French investigating officer Jean Michael Lausanne steering wheel with his severed head on the floor. This observation ruled out suicide, as reported that he witnessed the vehicle was ablaze and the corpse of Danson at the claim by Operation Paget and was consistent with a homicide. Or he had been killed before the fire, consistent with carbon monoxide poisoning. Here we go again with the carbon monoxide. Then I got again, this is all from this GEA investigation in 2025. Tunnel cameras did not operate. Again, this to me, this is super red flag. Super red flag. There were more than 14 CCTV cameras in the Ponte Liama underpass, though none recorded footage of the fatal collision.
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That is
all
that is
14
insane.
of them.
That's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
I do not believe that, but okay.
No.
The camera dysfunction was not caused by mechanical failure. Someone from an undisclosed governmental agency did manipulate the cameras. And I got the disabled cameras were not adequately studied, was consistent with substandard investigation. And I have analysis of the wreckage of the Mercedes revealed it had glancing contact with a white Fiat Uno car, which left traces of paint on the Mercedes bodywork, and it was concluded that the car could have been involved in the accident. Witnesses Georges and Sabine Dozan identified Levon Than as the agitated man they may have seen driving the car. Than owned a white Fiat Uno identical to the one that struck Princess of Wales Mercedes. Than admitted that he resprayed his car red from the original white and replaced bumpers a few hours prior to the crash. He refused to provide a reason for doing so. Than's father said his son had resprayed his Uno red hours after the crash. Than told French investigators that he was on shift at the time of the crash as a night shift security guard at Renault factory at Gennevilliers. He did not have an alibi. The French police never verified his alibi nor adequately investigated his role in the crash. So Levon Than, the Fiat driver, was not interviewed by Operation Pagat. Like, how do you have an inquiry into the what went on, and you don't even interview this guy? This is again, this has sparks spewing in me of
just like
Idaho Force shit.
Yeah,
right. Like how are certain people from the fraternity and stuff not interviewed? Like this is
and he
crazy.
Doesn't come forward on his own to say, "Hey, this is what happened. It was an accident." I feel like that shows a lot of guilt.
Yeah,
they should have checked his bank account.
Operation Paget never addressed why it took 25 minutes for the ambulance. So to try. So I guess once they got her stabilized, right? Because we know the total was an hour and 40 minutes. So the operation brigade never addressed why it took 25 minutes for the ambulance to travel 4.1 miles to the Pate Salpatieri Hospital in the early morning hours with no traffic.
No. Oh my God, no reason.
Then I got Trevor Reese Jones, the front seat security guard, failed to ensure the passengers were belted.
Yep.
Powerful foes happy with tragic outcome due to the behavior offensive to traditional values. Observations consistent with the conclusion that Princess Diana was a victim of a homicide, and inconsistent with Princess Diana, suggesting that Princess Diana was a victim of a homicide. The odds of this observation being correct is percentage 99.99. That's what they came to their conclusion. So they have here medical, forensic, mathematical evidence suggests that Princess Diana was a victim of a homicide. Evidence also suggests less than optimal emergency medical intervention contributed to her death. A cluster of very unusual mishaps were associated with the deaths of Princess Diana, Dodi Fayed, and Henri Paul, marked by signature traits of organized intelligent murders. High levels of carbon monoxide found in Henri Paul and James Adanson's blood. So that's the guy who had that white Fiat that I was just talking about.
Yeah.
Is worthy of scientific scrutiny, for it may represent further proof of homicide. In both cases, the toxic levels are red flags for foul play. Both victims must have been mentally incapacitated before death. Henri Paul had a toxic alcohol level that did not match the witness reports and TV images, suggesting the possibility that perhaps lab results were altered. Hence, the altered results would suggest sabotage. If the blood tests were
Bingo.
valid, they validate intoxication by carbon monoxide before death. Also, Adanson's blood test validates intoxication by carbon monoxide before his death. How can we explain the carbon monoxide intoxication of Paul and Adanson? The crucial question remains unanswered, and further investigation would be helpful. Is there a weapon that could deliver carbon monoxide, or a poison that produces carbon monoxide? So, exclusive review of individual pieces of data. In summary, evidence is inconsistent with a hypothesis that Princess Diana died by an accident caused by a drunk driver. It seems that some of the investigational flaws may reflect conflict of interest of jurors heightened by their sensitive dependence on governmental influences. However, it is difficult to accept a substandard investigation by Operation Paget, declaring the brutal murder of a key witness whose head had been severed as suicide. A new investigation is warranted. So the final conclusion that they came to is that Princess Diana was a victim of a homicide. The odds of this observation being correct is 99.99%. Less than optimal emergency medical intervention also contributed to her death.
Now, also in August, that Francois Levestre claimed to have seen a motorcycle cut up the Mercedes before it crashed. Okay. And then it says he changes his story, ignoring his past claims that a massive flash that could have blinded Mr. Paul. He tells Sunday People that he might have caused the crash that killed the princess by swerving in front of the car. And meanwhile, we have bodyguards and spokespersons quitting their jobs, resigning from their positions as bodyguards and spokespersons for Al Fayed and Princess Diana repeatedly. Okay. All around the same period of time. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, where do we see that?
Yeah.
Here again.
Yeah. Right.
The correlations.
Here you go. Here's that guy, Richard Tomlinson.
Richard Tomlinson, who was a former British spy.
MI6. Yep.
Is heard by the judge, Stephan, at his own request. Okay. Mr. Tomlinson tells the British tabloid the people have alleged MI6 plot to kill Serbian President Slobodan Milosevic that included a bright flash in a tunnel. He said the Princess Diana's accident mirrored this plot, suggesting that Mr. Paul might have been a Secret Service agent. How about that? And that goes back to what one was telling you guys about that, that whole thing. September of that same year, Mr. Reese Jones registers as a plaintiff against the writs for placing his life in danger. February of 99, French investigating Judge Stephan delivers his 6,800-page report to prosecutor Maud Coujard. Paris Appeal Court throws out a petition by Mr. Al Fayed, which was critical of Stephan's investigation. September of 99, Judge, I think it's Stephan, official French report on the crash is published. It concludes that Mr. Paul was driving at excessive speed and under the influence of both prescription drugs and alcohol. Judge Stephan also concludes that none of the photographers arrested after the crash are to be charged with manslaughter. How about that?
Yeah.
And then that's when it starts to get ugly. Mohammed Al Fayed claims that Prince Philip masterminded the car crash that killed Princess Diana and his son Dodi Al Fayed. And that's when they start to go to war on that aspect. And he takes it to the court systems. Al Fayed, they reject the legal bid to hold joint inquests into the death of Princess and his son, which again, folks, this man is not from this area. So he thinks that he put in requests in London with the courts in London, and of course they're gonna bow to the royal family before they're gonna go to a foreigner, okay, and think and listen to anything they're saying, in my opinion, at least. Mr. Reese Jones' book, The Bodyguard Story, is published. In it, he says to have no memory whatsoever of the crash, not trash. He is trash, crash, and that's so very convenient. Okay, so very convenient.
Yeah.
There again, the coroner, John Burton, leaves his post and is replaced by Michael Burgess. All of these people are leaving their positions and their posts and what they do. Very interesting. Big red flags. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then I think it was April of 2002, the French Supreme Court of Appeals ended its investigation into the crash and also upholds Judge Stephan's dismissal of the manslaughter charges against paparazzi. I can't talk tonight. And then April, May, just so a year later, roughly in August, the royal coroner, Mr. Burgess, announces that an inquest into the deaths of Princess Diana and Dodi Fayed will proceed. So therefore, it starts to move forward from there. Excuse me.
I think he put a lot of money towards that as well.
Yeah. Muhammad says that Princess Diana phoned him on the night that she died to tell him that she was pregnant with Dodi's baby.
No.
See, I think that's a lie.
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
I think that's a lie. I mean, I know I feel bad. I feel bad for his son was killed in this, but I don't think that was true.
I think that was part of his plan to make him become closer to this family and to get some form of recognition from that. Again, like I said earlier, all these other things are just details about who puts makes Diana's death pledge.
So can I just say real quick, thank you to George King for the donation to our FOIA fund. I received $50 on Cash App, which is extremely helpful. So I just want to say thank you so much.
Awesome, George.
Yeah, incredible.
That's great.
That's great. Yeah. So just so people in the chat know, so what he's reading through here, this is a dated chronological, different part of events that
like a timeline,
that happened with the inquest that I was referring to. So what I was mostly talking about was this GEA, this group that is basically investigating high profile deaths and one of the high profile deaths that they reviewed, they're basically reviewing some of the like a lot of the findings that they did during this inquest that Dago is showing you right now.
I think it's interesting that first and foremost, Mr. Burgess, the royal coroner, replaced the other royal coroner, okay? And then not
Yeah.
even a full 2 years later, that coroner, Mr. Burgess, resigns, citing a heavy workload. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
The people didn't want
That's
nothing to do
crazy.
with this, I'm telling you.
You're right.
Right.
And that's also again again look I can't get away from not mentioning it. Again, look at Idaho 4. How many people
Yep.
left, went to different departments, retired.
Moved on.
It's super red flag. When you see that there's some kind of event that happened and then there's like an investigation and you got people retiring or like new people appointed, like that's a super
Well,
red flag.
it's not even just that, like, that happened, and then if you go down a little bit further, it's interesting to me. In April, what was it? September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So 8 months later, announcement of appointment of a new assistant deputy coroner who will take responsibility for hearing the inquest into the death of Princess Diana. Now, before that, in September, I think Burgess left in July. September, Dame Elizabeth Butler Sloss was named the new royal coroner, and then there was an assistant deputy coroner who was added to this as well, that would be responsible for hearing the inquest. Okay, all of these people, you don't need that many people to do this, but they bring all these people in to do this, and they just keep leaving one after another. They don't want anything to do with this when they're seeing what's going on. And here's my thought on this: they probably freak out. Okay, if they realize what is going on in it,
Yeah.
and then at the same time realize they're going to have to report this. And what would happen if they reported this? They're going to lose
Right.
their life next, is what they're probably thinking. So it makes sense. It does.
Yeah.
How far did they go into checking the brake system? Is there anything
So they did
detailed?
check. So there's something. If you do a search online, there was a guy, some car expert, that said he didn't see any inconsistency that happened with the brake line or anything like that. It's a good question. What?
Absolutely. Let me see something here. And it said in April of '08, the jury delivered its verdict and decides that both Diana, Princess of Wales, and Dodi Fayed were unlawfully killed. That is what their verdict was at that point.
Right.
Hold on here.
See if I can find it. I remember looking it up here.
I'm trying to pull up some of the stuff I have.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was
have something
reading about
on.
the car expert. Yeah.
All right, here we go. I can
Yeah,
share this
because
with the
there
break.
was nothing found with the brakes, only that they had been damaged during the impact, but
Right.
nothing to do, like there was no cut brake lines found or anything like that. And even though
Right.
they have been investigated extensively, I guess by
You want
both
to pull that
French
up,
and
Robin?
UK authorities. So
Yeah, I have something
from what
backstage
I'm being
about this
told
if you want
anyway.
to pull it up. One
Okay.
minute here. All right. So, did Diana's car brakes really stop working? The Crown fact checked. Hold on a minute. It says, oh my God, 1 minute here. No, that's the wrong damn article I grabbed. Okay, here it
I
is.
hate when that happens.
Oh, right. What the hell? Yep, grabbed the wrong one. Sorry, you guys. 1 minute.
That's okay.
Okay, no problem.
So what do you think, Robin? What do you think about that carbon monoxide, like poisoning? It's crazy, right?
You know, I think it's very interesting because there are things that you can attach to engines that could very well have been put into the air condition, the
Right.
heating system,
Air
and
vent.
so
Right.
forth.
Right.
Which and if he's the one sitting right there, to Dago's point, that is possible, that he would have been the one mainly affected. And how better to cause an accident if
Yep.
the guy wasn't drunk than
Right.
to, essentially poison him that way so he passes out and can't control the car. Plus, then you add in the fiat. I mean,
Yep.
so he wouldn't have had the reflexes to avoid contact with another vehicle. And so, yeah,
Sounds like some fuckery.
Could
yeah,
it be? I know it sounds really crazy, but could it be the fact that he lived, so he was still breathing after the accident, and the other people maybe weren't breathing anymore, so they didn't breathe in the CO2 or CO, so
Yeah.
he was the
Yes.
only one who actually breathed it in after the accident?
It can happen if the car is still,
Yeah.
if it's still, the motor's still running and the exhaust is still pulling through. And like I said, if there was any separation in the car and the exhaust, it can leak into the vehicle, even if you know what I mean? Yeah, very much so.
right.
Very much so. And that's the right article backstage for you, Robin. Yeah, that's a good
There we
point too,
go.
Logan. All right, sorry about this. So, it states here in this article I had that Queen thought that Diana's brakes had been greased after hearing of the crash. This is what she stated. Queen Elizabeth II thought someone must have greased the brakes upon hearing Princess Diana's death in a Paris car crash. A new biography stated the monarch did not yet know the princess had died when she made the remark. On first learning the crash in an underpass in 97, according to uh, The Queen by Andrew Morton. Sorry. Lengthy investigation by Britain's Metropolitan Police, codenamed Operation Paget, eventually rolled out foul play, which we all know is bullshit. However, the Queen's early reaction after the tragedy shows just how extensive fears about Diana's safety were at the time. The princess herself told friends she believed someone sabotaged her brakes 2 years earlier in 95 and expressed fears for her future safety. And this all goes back to that 1995 interview that Diana had when she exposed all of Charles,
Right.
and everything he was doing, so on and so forth. Meanwhile, Morton, who wrote a bombshell 92 biography of Diana based on tape recorded confessions the princess made for him, described how Prince Charles reacted to the news of his ex-wife's death by asking, "What have we done to deserve this?" Serialized in a Daily Mail book reads, early reports suggested that Diana had suffered only a broken arm and walked away from the accident in a Paris underpass. That's interesting.
And just for anybody who doesn't know, greasing the friction surfaces of rotors or brakes of a vehicle creates an immediate, dangerous, and significant reduction in stopping power, causing severe brake failure or dramatically increased stopping distances. However, after that grease has worn off, it returns back to normal, basically after the lubricant clears, so it could look like it wasn't there.
Yeah, and how does the Queen know about that? Since considering she doesn't do anything that has anything to do with stuff like that, is my question.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not like
That's
she's
a little
ever
odd.
changed a tire.
Right. Well, you never know, right?
No, I guess, but
And this article states that the first instinct with Charles was that he was more worried about the public blaming him for this than the actual death of Diana. This guy's such a puke. I'm sorry. And it goes
Yep.
back to Diana subsequently wrote a note to Simone Simmons stating that M15 or 16 were involved. Simone Simmons believed the note read something like, "Dear Simone, as you know, the brakes of my car have been tampered with. If something does happen to me, it will be MI5 or MI6. Who will have done it? Lots of love, Diana." Diana's legal advisor, Lord Mishcon, said Diana raised concerns about an attempt on her life at a meeting in October of 95. The report stated that he wrote that the Princess of Wales had told him that reliable sources, whom she did not wish to name, had informed her that by April of 96, whether in an accident in her car, such as pre-prepared brake failure or by other means, efforts would be made, if not to get rid of her, then at least to see that she was so injured or damaged to be declared unbalanced. However, an inquest spent 6 months examining available evidence and rolled out in '08 that the gross negligent driving of Henri Paul was the cause of Diana and Dodi's unlawful killing. They just completely blew it away, blew it off like it was nothing and ignored it.
Dago, Sparkly Starfish in your chat says the Queen was a mechanic during the war.
Well, there's the answer to that question.
There you are. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't.
And this was a great comment too. I don't know if you want to read it.
Bob Marley,
this is very good, very good insight.
Yes, definitely. I didn't know the Queen could work on. That's it. That's awesome, actually. Thank you for that, Sparkly. But that's pretty much it.
So yeah, as like a side note or a bigger picture, we've mentioned before, you'll see that in history there are multiple people in whatever artists,
right,
or movies, anyone that's kind of like seemed like they could reach, had a big following, that they were like a uniter. There are deeper deeper powers, that people don't like. That the higher up people, whatever you want to call them, the people in control, the entity in control, that's the whole idea. They don't have control if they want a certain outcome, if they're trying to push a certain agenda, a certain thing, and you have someone, like Kurt Cobain or some of these people. I've mentioned a few, maybe down the line in the future, maybe we'll cover, Tupac. People, I've mentioned it a few times. Some people who don't really know about they just know, oh yeah, he was some kind of rival, hip hop artist, against Biggie or whatever. Tupac was actually like really super smart, and if you look at Tupac's history, he was actually, one of the things that he was seeking out to do was, he was actually trying to unite the Bloods and the Crips. He was trying to unite. So it's just, very interesting that these people who are well known or who have far, I won't say power, but have far reaching, ideology that they can reach, especially if you could reach, young people, that these people who are about uniting, and they wind up having mysterious deaths or mysterious suicides. It's very interesting.
Yeah, and Diana was someone who definitely would have united people or tried
Oh
to.
yeah.
I mean, so like you're saying, when you have someone like her that they could not really control her, so she uh she would have gotten in some people's way. Let's put it, and she
Yeah.
was. She already
Yep.
was. And then if you try to correlate that with moving forward to like say fast forward through some of like the stuff leading up to 9/11 and things like that, they would not have wanted, they didn't want her to be involved with a Muslim anyway, but especially that would have created problems there again. Like, I don't believe that she would have stayed with Dodi. I don't believe that. But what I'm saying is, say that her and Hassan uh, Khan had gotten back together and actually did get married or something. I mean, that would have created a lot of complications and so forth. So, yeah.
Thank you, Yuri, for the $10 to our FOIA fund. I appreciate you so very, very much. You guys are so, so amazing. Could not thank you anymore. Just Jesus, you guys are great.
Yeah,
so
those FOIA that really helps because
Oh my
the
goodness.
records are not cheap in many cases. So that's wonderful that people are
Wow.
jumping in to help out that way,
Especially
I'm assuming that
especially
they're
not in
gonna be-
Idaho.
Yeah, I'm assuming that they're going to be fairly expensive, and I was preparing to do it just all by myself. So just anything that we get towards it is just incredible. It's so, so beyond helpful.
Yeah, it's great. Wow, look at that.
I still can't get past every time I look at that car.
Oh, so another thing.
Yeah.
So there's a few other things to mention. So it wasn't brought up in this GEA thing, but one fact to notice was brought up. Now, any accident that has a homicide, a death, they have to there's going to be where obviously this is in France, it's not in the United States, but there's going to be some kind of accident investigation squad, and they're gonna take rulers out, and they're gonna measure stuff and do all that kind of stuff. Um, from what I read online, it said that this accident scene and everything was like super cleared up. Like by like 7 o'clock in the morning, like you almost couldn't even tell there was an accident.
Yeah.
Which is a little crazy to me. Like, and especially being at who is involved in the accident, you would like why was it why is it cleaned up that quickly?
That quickly.
This photograph says, this is, by the way, this is Muhammad Al Fayed, Dodi's dad. It says, holds a letter reportedly from the princess at a press conference at Harrods in central London, 14 of December 2006, following the publication of Stephen's report. Al Fayed on Thursday condemned a long-awaited British report into the death as a cover-up, and garbage. Muhammad Al Fayed also insisted that there was a plot backed by British intelligence to murder them in August of '97, when they died in a high-speed crash. The reaction came after the report by former police chief John Stevens concluded that the crash was a tragic accident and rejected the charges by Fayed that it was a murder. It was that rejected the thought that it was a murder plot. So he really pushed this for a long time. Al Fayed did.
Yeah. So
these are just a bunch of photographs that are attached to the case, so on and so forth. These are the photographs at the hotel of Diana, the drivers, so on and so forth. This was, I think, in the jewelry store when he was going to buy the ring.
Wow.
Jesus, it's insane.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody even stepped out of that car after the fact,
Yeah.
It's just nuts. And it wasn't even a small car, guys. Those cars are fairly decent sized.
Yeah.
but hitting those pillars don't move. Okay.
No.
And
Well, and they were going what, like 65 or 70 miles per hour or something like that.
yeah,
So it wasn't like they were doing 30 or 35 down into
no,
there either.
no, not at all.
So, and those pillars are massive.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty stable too. They hold these tunnels up and the ceiling and all that. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
they're fairly solid.
So, yeah.
I just want to thank Emily for the $25 donation on Cash App towards our FOIA. We appreciate
Good
you so much.
Lord.
I'm going to take Sausage Biscuits advice, and she votes that we do a 10-second little dance party like clip. So I'm going to have Bianca see if we can get her to make us one. So every time we get a donation, we can have a tiny 10-second party, because you guys have no idea how helpful this is. Thank you so much.
So I wanted to go into something real quick. I know we're getting towards the end here, so I don't I will make this super brief. I don't have time to go into this whole thing, but I just wanted to
Right.
mention it because it does have to do kind of bring full circle back to what we were talking about in the very beginning of our coverage. So I have a whole basically section here that's called Diana versus the Machine. So I had showed this to I think Robin like a month ago, like a while ago. And what it means by the machine, it's talking about the monarchy, and there's all these different elements, all these different elements to it, that Diana had to basically endure.
Mm-hmm.
The monarchy has, their how it's going to handle itself, and Diana's, pulling at the strings, going against. But the basic idea, though, like I said, is Diana had this eternal struggle against the monarchy, and the conclusion of it is that Diana was not destroyed by the press. She was not destroyed by fame. She was not destroyed by love affairs. She was damaged by a system that needed her image, rejected her humanity, and punished her for insisting on being real. And it's very sad too that she's being damaged by a system that rejected her humanity when you couldn't find someone more like the in the world that was well known to that kind of level that she was at, of
Yeah.
the humanitarian that she was, but yet
Mm-hmm.
she was part of a system that rejected her own humanity. The machine couldn't bend,
Yeah.
and Diana wouldn't break quietly, so she spoke, and once she did, the fairy tale was over forever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And like stuff like this here, this sign that was left. Dear Diana, thank you for treating us like human beings, not criminals. You were one in a million, from David Hayes and all of the lads in HM prison in Dartmoor. That says who she was in itself. Okay?
Right.
Yeah.
And
That's
that
incredible.
that's who she was, guys. I mean, in every aspect, that's who she was.
Then the thing is
Yeah.
she didn't have to be that way. She
No.
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 Just naturally who she was, and she chose to be that way. She could have been what Camilla is, okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
In every aspect, but didn't want to be that person. Didn't want to be that.
No.
And she affected people, all of us, as we're sitting here talking about her, or we wouldn't be saying these things here in a completely different country, you guys. Okay. That is what like really impresses and blows my mind is how she affects me, a 51-year-old American man that had no clue who she was. I never met her, but everything I knew of her it just impressed upon me the absolute amazing soul that she had, the heart that she had, the things that she wanted to do for the people of the world, not just of the UK or of France or anything, the people of the world, you guys. She
Yeah,
was truly,
absolutely.
in my opinion, from everything I know about her, an angel sent straight from God to the world to do the things she did. That's exactly how I feel about her and always have, from what I can
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thank you, Conspireling, for the $9.99 and on top X 6382 for the $2.99. We appreciate you. But I think Conspireling's cat
Holy
actually
hell.
sent that to us. So thank you, Bricky Bobby Brown, from the bottom of my heart.
So
Well,
Logan's gonna be a
thank
millionaire by the end
you.
of the night.
We're going to get several
Yeah,
years of FOIAs done all at once.
yeah, there you go. Hey, that's all to the good because you don't know what you're looking at yet. So
Nope.
Exactly.
that's all to the good. So,
Absolutely.
well,
Absolutely. You
I
guys are
want to
amazing.
thank. Yeah, absolutely. We have a wonderful community. We really, really do. Can't say enough
Yes.
about that. So, but so glad that everyone tuned in for this series. We appreciate that very much. Next week we will be starting to investigate the
Drum roll.
murder of Jean-Benet Ramsey.
Woo woo.
That is going to
Yay.
be the next deep dive that we're doing. So
Spoiler
I hope
alert.
everyone will tune in for that. I want to remind everyone that starting tomorrow night, we will be on at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to try it for a week, going an hour early, because there are some people like East Coasters, some people that it might work better for. We're going to try it for a week and see how that goes. Again, we're going to start at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard and 8 p.m. Eastern. So just want to remind everyone about that. But we will go around the horn here. So let's do Logan, Dago, 1-1, and then I will close us on out.
Thank you so much for everybody tuning in, especially the mods for helping out in the chat. You guys make the chat so much fun and just make the show even better with all the stuff that you put in chat. That is always great suggestions or thoughts or ideas, just anything. We appreciate you for being here and showing up for us every single time. Thank you so much, specifically to Yuri, Carol, George, Emily, Conspiraling, Bricky Bobby Brown, and On Top X for donating to our FOIA fund. I'll be posting everything in the community post as soon as we get the prices back, which should be, I'm assuming, early this week. So thank you guys for being here. Do something nice for yourself. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals. Have a great night, guys. Sleep good.
Thank you very much. And Sir Dago.
Yes, yes, yes. Great series. I very much enjoyed going through that with you guys. Thank you to Logan, 1-1, and Miss Robin as well for making all that happen. You guys are amazing, and thank you again. Is always it's an honor to be able to do this with all of you. I appreciate that, and all of the moderators. Between all our communities, you guys are amazing. We could not do this without you. You guys are truly awesome and amazing, and I appreciate you all much. I'm looking so much forward to covering the Jean-Benet Ramsey case. It was one of the first cases I ever looked into in true crime out here, and I really, really, really kind of excited about that one, guys. So and truly and honestly, thank you all so much for helping Logan on her quest for the FOIA stuff. It's going to help the entire community because anything she gets, we will all be able to know and maybe get some answers from. So that is very much appreciated from all of you amazing people to doing that to help her. So God bless all of you guys for that. Again, folks, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. And as I always say, please don't change a thing. You guys are all truly and honestly the beautiful people. Love to you all. Have a wonderful night, folks.
Okay, and Sir 1-1.
So thanks to again, great panel. All the channels, the turtles, meatballs, denizens, our awesome mods from both all three channels that are here. Um, I hope everyone enjoyed the deep dive that we did into Princess Diana. I really enjoy this series. It's nice to try to look at some of the stuff with a fresh look and bring up um different questions and analysis and look at photos, and I really enjoy it. Not that I don't enjoy covering Idaho 4 and the document, going through the documents and bringing up theories and whatnot, but uh let's be honest, the Idaho 4, we we cover, it's like ongoing for 3 years and no end in sight, right? Forever. So it's like the case that never ends. Um, but there's so many important cases besides Idaho 4, and these cases are important. We try to give you our insight, and you may not agree with everything that we say or certain things, and that's fine. You are allowed to have your opinion. um but we try to base our opinion, and obviously, like, I'm from law enforcement. Dago has his EMS and firefighter stuff. Logan has her side of stuff with the hospital things and blood, and Robin has her insights on many different areas as well. So we try to make you think, just bring up these questions and think. And so I hope you guys like the how we cover, and we try not to just dive right into the crime scene, and or possible crime scene, alleged homicide or alleged murders. We really want to give you guys a thorough background on the people involved and give you a little insight into the life of these people before they were murdered. Like, obviously, Princess Diana, was larger than life, and it's really a brutal shame that it was cut short with the way she does. Because, again, I think I've said it on every episode that we've had here. She really had a tormented soul, and for someone that had such a tormented soul that she was part of from when she was young, she was so giving and had such a heart of love and gold and just wanting to help people. uh just the authenticity and the humanitarian part of her, just uh if everyone just had, maybe just a little, just even a quarter of her willingness to want to help people, just think how much better society would be. And as Logan was just saying before, she didn't have to do any of this stuff. She really didn't. But she chose to. So
Yep, that's very true.
so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we will be doing, as Robin stated, a deep dive into John Benet Ramsey. And um, I've probably watched like 100 different documentaries on that case. Uh, I've probably done more research on that case than Idaho 4. So I'm super interested about that. And I will end you with a movie quote here. So let me know when you guys are ready.
Ready?
Ready? Okay.
Ready.
Yeah, but John, if the Pirates of the Caribbean breaks down, the pirates don't eat the tourists.
No idea.
Weekend at Bernie's.
Nah.
Parts of the Caribbean. I don't know.
No, I'll give.
No, I didn't think
I'll
so.
give you
but
another quote.
Okay.
She's learning where she fits on the food chain, and I'm not sure you want her to figure that out.
Father of the Bride.
Nope.
Oh, that's a good guess, though. Forgot about that movie.
I'm making sure I'm not looking at chat because I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm like,
Yeah.
I
Don't
Don't
another
tell
one.
him the babysitter's dead.
You definitely will get it from the third quote. There's no question. All right, ready?
Yep.
I'm ready.
God creates dinosaurs. God kills dinosaurs. God creates man. Man kills God. Man brings back dinosaurs.
Jurassic Park.
Oh,
Got it.
yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Jurassic
Yep.
Park?
Hours later.
Jurassic
How
Park.
about that?
4 hours
Very
later.
good. Very good. I
Good job.
I stink at these.
Hey, Coda.
Finding Nemo. Sausage says Finding Nemo.
That was great. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah. I give you the crime cat. He shows up right at the end.
Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, meow, meow. Well, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate you guys, coming out on Sundays, getting involved in the kind of what would we call it, like retro kind of cases or whatever. We enjoy it. It's a little bit of a breath of fresh air, kind of cleanses the palate for gets us ready for the week ahead. And so we appreciate it so much. And we these cases are important to go back over. I know that there's been a lot of people who have looked at these cases and so forth, but just like we were saying tonight, the way that this case has correlations to Idaho 4. You find this in the high profile cases. Like, Dega was saying about all the people around the Princess Diana case who suddenly, quit their job, moved on, we find the same thing with Idaho 4, with, various other cases. So I do think that these cases are still important to
Yes.
go back over, and you never know what you may find that you didn't know before. There was a lot of things going back over the research and stuff that I had not been aware of, and so I find it very fascinating. So, but yes, so we will be back tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. 8 p.m. Eastern. And we thank you so much for coming out. We have amazing mods, we have amazing communities, and we couldn't be more thankful for you. So I hope each and every one of you, whether you're here live or on the replay crew, I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we will see you tomorrow.
Have a great night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Sleep tight.
Nighty night.
4 hours later.